Edina is up to something new again. If you want to know what that is, as well as in what cases you can give a simplified invoice or a receipt, then stay with us for this newest episode.
Welcome to the Business Lessons in Denmark podcast. Our podcast gives the answers to your business-related questions that have not been answered yet or things that haven't even crossed your mind. My name is Edina and I am here with my colleague Katalin Balog. We are owners of Cool Account TPS, a Danish accounting office. Hi Kati, well, I'm actually thinking about opening a cafe in addition to my restaurant. I love coffee and so do Danes by the statistics. I would even expand this idea with driving a tuk-tuk around the city. It could sell my coffee plus promote my new cafe. What do you think about my idea?
Well, if I knew what a tuk-tuk is, I would be able to tell you what I think.
Okay, it's a cute little vehicle. It has 3 wheels. It's actually a motorized rickshaw. There is a driver's cabin in the front and the metal box in the back, and the coffee maker and other equipment would be in the box.
Yeah, I know. Okay. I actually have seen one of those before. Mm-hmm. It's really a funny little vehicle.
Yeah.
Well, the idea of a cafe is also a good one. Danes really drink a lot of coffee.
Yes, exactly. But I have a problem. For sure, I will have many guests in my cafe, and I won't have time to write invoices to every single one of them. Also, it seems strange for me to ask for the name and address of my guest for the invoice. So I won't think they would like it.
I understand. For businesses that serve many customers in a short period of time, invoicing is really not that easy to solve. These businesses are, of course, restaurants, cafes, department stores, but could also be a masseuse, a beautician, a hairdresser, and so on. These types of businesses usually have private individuals as customers, and the value of sales to one customer is not that high.
Yeah, exactly. Is there a way to solve this problem? In last week's episode, you mentioned the possibility for a simpler solution.
Yes, exactly. If the value of the product or service does not exceed 3,000 crowns, it is sufficient to give a simplified invoice or a receipt about the sale.
That sounds good. Is it called a simplified invoice because it doesn't contain so much data as an invoice?
Yes. A simplified invoice should only contain the following information: the name, address, and CVR number of your business, the invoice number, which must be continuous, the date of the issue, that is the invoice date, quantity and nature of products sold or services provided, the amount of the VAT, and the sum of the total sale.
So you don't have to write the customer's name and address on it.
Exactly. This is the difference to the full invoice.
Well, that would solve most of my problem, but would a receipt be even simpler?
Yes. If you sell mainly to private individuals, you can issue a receipt instead of an invoice or a simplified invoice, which contains even less information. Here, you only have to write the name or CVR number of your business, the date of issue, what you sold, and the amount of VAT.
Okay, so the name of my business is or the CVR number?
Yeah, one of those is enough.
Okay, very good. And I can also leave out the address of my business, right?
Right.
Okay, and we don't even need an invoice number, if I heard it correctly.
Yes, that's right. In addition, it is enough to indicate the amount of VAT as 20% of the full amount. So it is not necessary to write the exact amount of VAT on the receipt as on the invoice and the simplified invoice, like the VAT is 29 crowns or 120 crowns or whatever. It is enough to write that the VAT is 20% of the total amount of the receipt.
Oh, yeah, because the 25% VAT is actually 20% of the total amount.
Yes, it works out like this mathematically. But be prepared that if you sell something to a company, they may ask you for a full invoice in addition to or instead of a receipt.
Well, that's not a problem. I perfected my invoicing skills after our previous episode.
Okay.
So the point is that I don't have to give a full invoice to each guest. And what would I need to do in practical life? Do I have to buy a block of receipts at the shop?
Well, for some business owners, a block of receipts from the print shop will be okay. Unfortunately, this will not be enough for you, as certain sectors are obliged to use a digital cash register from the 1st of January 2024.
Oh, and the coffee is included in these sectors.
Yes.
Ah.
If you have a cafe or a restaurant, a pizzeria, an ice cream shop, grill bar, a pub, a disco, or a grocery store, then you need a digital cash register that meets all the requirements set by the tax office. A handwritten receipt will not be enough in these businesses.
And what happens if I don't want to use a digital cash register because I'm an old-fashioned lady?
If it turns out that you don't have a digital cash register that meets the requirements, you will get a fine of 10,000 crowns at the first inspection. The fine will be 20,000 crowns at the second inspection, 30,000 crowns at the third, and so on. Always 10,000 crowns more.
Oh, I think a cash register will be cheaper than this.
Yeah, probably. By the way, the requirements your cash register has to meet make up a long list. And I really don't want to bore you or the listener with this now. But before you buy your new cash register, you should find out from your supplier if the model you want is sufficient.
Okay, let's put a link in the description of this episode so that those who are interested in these requirements can look it up. Anyway, the point is that my cafe and my restaurant will have to have a digital cash register, but a small massage clinic or nail shop can still use a simpler receipt block for writing receipts.
Yes. Or if you sell products of lower value, for example, handmade jewelry, it is enough to give a handwritten receipt to your customers as long as the sales are below 3,000 crowns.
Okay, clear. One more thing. What happens if my customers pay with mobile pay? Mobile pay actually sends an electronic confirmation about the payment. Is not that enough?
No. The mobile pay confirmation does not show anything about what you sold, and it doesn't show the amount of VAT either. And both of these are requirements, even for a receipt. The confirmation that mobile pay gives you is just a payment confirmation. Just like when you have a card terminal, it also gives a small confirmation of the card payment itself. This small confirmation is similar to a receipt because it is a small piece of paper, but it is not a receipt. It only documents the payment itself.
Oh, I hoped I could get by easier, but no, it seems. But if a mobile pay confirmation or a card payment confirmation is not enough, then the same applies to a bank transfer, right? So my bank statement will not be enough to document my sales, even if it shows all the money that arrived to me.
No, it won't be enough. You need to document the sale itself. And you can do this with an invoice, with a simplified invoice, or with a receipt. You need to give one of these to your customer so they know what they bought, for how much, and from whom. They might even need this documentation later. For example, if a product has a warranty, so they can prove the purchase with the invoice or receipt. And you, as the seller, must also have a copy of these sales documents for your own accounting.
Okay, so there is no way out of this. I will have to find a solution that is practical for me and works relatively quickly and smoothly.
Yes. If you only send a few invoices per week or month, then a full invoice will be the best solution for you. You can use one of the bookkeeping programs we discussed earlier for making these invoices. If your customers are mostly businesses themselves, then again, this will be the right solution. If you have a web shop, you will usually issue simplified invoices, which your web shop will automatically send out to your customer. Most web shops can be connected to your bookkeeping program, so the daily sales get recorded in your bookkeeping as well. If you run a clinic where customers come for a treatment, then a booking system may be the best solution. This could be, for example, hairdressers, masseuses, beauticians, and so on. These booking systems not only book an appointment, but usually also take care of invoicing and sending out invoices.
Yeah, and if I run a cafe, a restaurant, or similar, then I have to invest in a digital cash register because of the rules that came into effect from 2024.
That's right. Fortunately, there are plenty of options on the market today, and these digital cash registers are usually easy to use and can often be operated from a tablet. We are far from those old monsters, which we may still remember from our childhood.
Yeah, and what about tuk-tuk? There is so little space that I can't put a cash register in there. I can't get electricity during the day either, so I actually don't know how I would handle this.
According to the rules and current practice, it is expected that you give a receipt. With the technical level we have nowadays, this can be solved for most businesses. If there is no power supply, you must use a battery-operated device. But having said that, there is actually an exception, which says that if giving a receipt cannot be solved technically because you are selling from a temporary location, for example, from a table at a fair, a stall, or a tuk-tuk, then you can omit giving a receipt. But in this case, you must write a daily statement of the cash you sell for.
So I have to make a statement of how much money I had at the beginning of the day, how much I had at the end of the day, and if some money was taken out the day. So with this, I can document my sales for that day.
Yeah, exactly. And you enter your sales into your accounting based on this statement. But even so, if you sell for more than 1,000 crowns for a customer, then you will have to give a simplified invoice there. So, these were the rules. If you have any more questions, I will be happy to provide you with further advice.
Okay, then I will make an appointment, but I will bring the coffee.
That sounds very good. I'm looking forward to seeing you.
Okay, good. Well, then it's time to end off for today. Thank you very much, dear listener, for listening to us. We hope you found today's episode useful. Next Monday, we are coming back with another topic that may be interesting for you as a business owner or a future business owner. Today's episode was sponsored by Kulakan CPS. Kulakan CPS can help with starting your company with bookkeeping and tax matters. In addition, we also provide business and financial consulting. If you don't want to miss useful and up-to-date information, follow us and like our Facebook page. You can contact us via our website, www.accounts.cool. We wish you a successful week.